Welcome to this free immigration help channel. Today is September 25th, 2023, and we are getting into the volume 162 of me answering your immigration related questions. As always, before beginning this video, I'm going to mention, as I mentioned in every video, I am not an immigration attorney. This is not legal advice. All the information provided in these videos on this channel are directly from official government sources like USCIS and of course the Department of State with their visa bulletin. So looks like we have a couple of comments. Briefly explained, gave many thanks. Thank you, appreciate it. Glad this was helpful. Dylan says sends heart. Thank you. I'm glad this was helpful. Okay, so we got a question, looks like from Isaac Julian 7436. Good day. My green card has expired. I applied for renewal. I have a biometric appointment in the US, however, I'm personally outside the US. What travel documents do I need to re-enter the US for my biometrics appointment? Okay, great question, Isaac Julian. Thank you for asking. So, according to the CBP, Customs and Border Protection website, looks like you should be fine whenever it comes to the expired green card. Just make sure that you bring the notice that you received from USCIS whenever you submitted the renewal application for the green card. Just make sure you have that to show it at the airport, just in case if they ask, your green card expired, what's going on, you can be like, oh yeah, I already submitted the renewal, here's the receipt, and I already have the biometrics appointment scheduled. And that should be fine. But I would advise, obviously, for everyone who's watching, I would strongly advise against situations like this. It's just be very careful whenever it comes to plan your travel accordingly. If you know that your green card is expiring and you might be outside of the United States longer than the green card, make sure that you submit the renewal application earlier, just in case, because it's important, and you definitely don't want to be in a situation where you come into the country and they're giving you a hard time in the airport when you're entering the country. Okay, moving further to user L1PO8ZR1P. Sorry, YouTube does not show me names anymore, it shows handles. So user says, I like your video, very understandable. I have a question, under what category would domestic violence fall? Okay, great question, thank you for asking. So this question was posted on I-589 application for asylum and withholding of removal. So here's the thing. Whenever it comes to asylum applications, domestic violence is not really considered to be part of, the situations based on which you can claim asylum. And I'll explain why. The reason for that is because whenever it comes to asylum, you are claiming that you are unable to go back to the country where you came from. That's why you're claiming asylum here in the United States of America. If you say that the situation is domestic violence, the natural response of the immigration officer that is reviewing your case is, did you report it to authorities? Why have not the authorities resolved the situation, back in your country? Why didn't you get away from that household, from that town, city, from that country to another country, somewhere nearby? Okay, so if you can answer all of those questions, because that's the thing, the situations might be different. For example, I understand completely because I'm an immigrant myself, and I come from the country where if you go against someone that has relationship with the guy, I mean, it's everywhere. It's like this. Honestly, it's not just the countries, back over there. Here's the same way in a lot of situations. And the reality is, if you are in, a domestic partnership or, marriage, whatever, with someone, and they are, related to someone in the government, and there's a problem, and you're trying to leave the situation, but you can't because, well, now it's pretty much the whole government that is against you, because it's somebody's son or somebody's daughter or somebody's nephew. You get the point. Government corruption, it can, it's pretty bad. It's pretty bad. In some places it's very obvious, in some places it's not very obvious. So if this is the kind of situation, then I just want you to be prepared with explaining to do, because this is the kind of questions that will be asked. And really there is particularly no category where you would say, okay, so this is now political asylum or based on religion, based on persecution. It is going to be persecution based on really your particular situation. So that's what you will have to do, explaining in the written statement, if this still applies to you. But keep in mind, if this doesn't, then you're probably looking at another, there are some visas that are specifically for the victims of domestic violence. So you might want to look around and do your research and find something that works better with your case. I'm not saying that asylum is not going to work, but this is something for you to definitely keep in mind, because these are the questions that will be asked by the immigration officer. So I hope you can figure this out. If you have any questions along the way, you're more than welcome to ask them on this channel. I will be happy to address them in the next volumes of me answering the immigration related questions. Okay, moving further to the next question from Ambul Luciano 9227. Is there a way to fast forward the process? Okay, so the question was posted on the F1 versus F2B family preference categories video, where I discussed the difference between the two and which one is more beneficial at the moment, based on the visa bulletin. So thank you for asking, Embul. It's a really good question. Yes, there is a way to expedite the processing whenever it comes to the NVC. However, there are two main requirements that need to be met in order for you to even request that expedited processing. Number one, you have to be documentarily qualified. And number two, your immigrant visa has to be already available. So, which means that the expedited processing really falls down on the processing with the US Embassy. NVC sending the case to the US Embassy scheduling the interview, and you going for your interview appointment, really. But yes, before that, unfortunately, at the moment, there is none. So if you are waiting for the immigrant visa to become available, if you're waiting on the visa bulletin, there is no way to expedite that, unfortunately, at the moment. But great question, thank you for asking. Let me post the answer here, and we're gonna move on to the next question coming from Danny Halili 442. Good morning, I'm documentarily qualified in last November 2021. My priority date is October 2000. I am F3. Thank you. Okay, Danny, let's take a look at the visa bulletin. So you are F3, married sons and daughters of US citizens. Let's see what we got. I'm gonna look at the all chargeability area, which looks like it's the same date for the rest of the world, for China, for India. For Mexico and Philippines is different, however. So if you're from Mexico or if you're from Philippines, these dates you will be looking at. But I'm going to be looking here, all chargeability. Right now it's January 2009, and you said you were in 2000. So if you are in 2000, you've been waiting 21 years to become documentarily qualified. So you gotta be from Mexico then, because you've been waiting so long and just now you're documentarily qualified. It has to be Mexico. Danny, so let me know what happened. If I'm correct, if you are if you're from Mexico, if you're in Mexico chargeability area, then good. Just let me know. Just confirm it. But if you're not, let me know what happened, because your priority date, either you made a mistake in your priority year, or some kind of major delay happened in your case. Honestly, I don't think that happened. So probably Mexico. So Mexico chargeability area right now is showing March 1998, and you are October 2000. So roughly you're about 2 more years away from the availability of your immigrant visa. Getting pretty close now, but still a little bit more time to wait. But again, Danny, if you can, let me know if I'm correct about not estimating, but thinking that you're from Mexico. For everyone who's posting a comment, follow-up comment, make sure that you post it as a separate comment. Don't respond to my comment within your comment, because then YouTube will not send me the notification. Okay, moving further to Queenas Rahmed 3199. Hello, sir. Mine is F1 category. My priority date is October 2015 and documentarily qualified in October 2021. How long should I expect for my visa interview to be scheduled? All chargeability areas. All right, thank you for a very detailed comment. Let's take a look. So we got F1 and priority date October 2015. F1, and right now we are on January 2015. So you reached the year, now it's just a matter of reaching the month. And January is first month, October is 10. So you're like 9 to 10 months away from the availability of the immigrant visa. And then that's around time where you would have your interview scheduled. Hopefully it goes quickly, you know, all the scheduling. So you are looking possibly at the end of this year with the interview, but most likely more probable is in the beginning of next year for your interview. And hopefully we will see consistent movement on F1. So for you, you know, if there is time for you to stay on top of the visa bulletin and keep checking it every month, it is definitely right now. So make sure that you're staying on top of the visa bulletin. And on this channel, once the new visa bulletin comes out, I do a video on it. So if you're not subscribed yet, make sure to subscribe. All right, moving further to the next one. Bebe and D3LU says, I like this visa, family visa. It is pretty good. You know, it's takes a lot of time in most situations, unfortunately, but yes, it's pretty convenient. Moving further to Kopi Frenis 8627. Thank you very much for being publicly subscribed. Really appreciate it. So Kopi Freni says, hello, will my B1B2 visa be approved if I have a cancelled terminated petition? Sister. Thank you in advance. Kopi Freni, thank you so much for the question. It's a really good question. So, yes, your B1B2 visa appointment interview, you know, it should not be affected. And in fact, the cancelled terminated petition might actually help you getting that B1B2 visa. Why? Because whenever you have a family petition, it's an immigration petition. Whenever you have an immigration petition and you go to a US embassy for an interview for a non-immigrant visa, you see it's a little bit of contradiction, all right? Because, well, you have an immigration petition going and you're coming now and applying for a non-immigrant visa. So are you planning to immigrate? Are you planning to non-immigrate? Honestly, it shouldn't be affecting. Don't think that I'm for it. I think it's dumb. I think people that have immigration petitions pending should be able to freely go and get that non-immigrant visa, even more so that they are able to come and visit their relatives here while their immigrant petition is pending. However, that's not how most of the times the consular section of the US Embassy is looking at it. They look at it differently. So yes, I think you will be fine. Again, there is really no guarantee whenever it comes to the US Embassy and whatever kind of visa, especially non-immigrant, especially B1B2, it is at their discretion. If they don't like something, if they think that, you know, you have plans to immigrate and you're applying for non-immigrant visa, they might just deny it. You know, it really depends on the embassy. But no, it should not. Your cancellation terminated petition should not affect technically the B1B2 visa. But be prepared just in case for the question like, hey, why was the petition canceled? What happened? So be prepared to have answers to that and explain that. Okay, moving further to Daphne JH7LF. Looks like there are two comments from Daphne. So Daphne says, my priority date is 9/10/2018, approved May 26, 2023. I hear nothing. So you're an F2A. Okay. Hi, sir. My priority date is September 2018. I'm a child under 21 of legal permanent resident. I was approved May 26. I heard nothing more. What can I do? Thank you, sir. So Daphne, thank you very much for your question. I'm sorry you're dealing with this. This is unfortunately part of the process as of right now. Waiting past the approval and really waiting for the availability of the immigrant visa. So let's take a look at the visa bulletin, because that's what we need to be looking at. You're in F2A with a priority date in September 2018. So let's see. So right now, for all chargeability, which chargeability area are you from? So you didn't post the chargeability area, but for all chargeability, for China, for India, for Mexico, and for Philippines. Looks like people, they're getting their immigrant visas becoming available with the people that have priority dates in February 2019. And you are September 2018. So you really are close. You're past, you're not close. Your immigrant visa should definitely be available because you're before that. You are, let's see, February, January, December, November, October. So you're like 5-6 months past. So your immigrant visa should already be available, definitely. I'm thinking the only reason why you're waiting is because you're waiting for the appointment to find out when the appointment was scheduled. And I think your appointment has been already scheduled. The only reason why you don't know when it was scheduled for is because US Embassy, they give you the notice of the appointment, in most cases 30 days before the appointment, in some of the cases 60 days before the appointment. And they do that because you need to do your medical examination within those 30 days. So here's one thing that you can do. You can call the US Embassy where you will be going through your interview, and you can find your US Embassy on the usembassy.gov. Just click on the country where you're at. Let's say, for example, if you are in Georgia, click on Georgia, and there you go, in US Embassy in Tbilisi, and you can just call their number and tell them that, hey, I'm an F2A, my priority date is current, my immigrant visa should be available, I'm already documentarily qualified, I just wanted to see when my interview was scheduled. Don't be upset if they don't give you that information, because it's again at their discretion. But in some situations they might, especially if you tell them that, hey, I'm a child under 21, I just wanted to get that information, they might be a little bit more lenient, because it's not a problem for them. They can open up their scheduling system, they can take a look at it and just tell you, hey, your interview was scheduled December 1st, 2023, for example. Thing is, you're not going to find out that it was scheduled on December 1st, 2023 until November 1st, 2023. So 30 days in advance, you see? So give your local US Embassy a call where you will be going through your interview, and ask them, because I am pretty sure your appointment should already be scheduled. And again, if they don't give you that information, don't be upset, because it is at their discretion. But it should be really close, really close. I would definitely start preparing for an interview, and once you do have your interview scheduled, please come back to this channel, and I'm sure everyone will be interested to hear that the interview was scheduled. Okay, moving further to the next question coming from Ayaz Nadim 3012. Hello sir, priority date is April 11, 2006, documentarily qualified on February 21, 2023. My chargeability is Pakistan, F4 category. When my interview appointment is going to be available? We are 3 sisters with same priority date. One younger sister received her visa 20 September 2023. Nice, congratulations. Now 2 sisters left with the same priority date when we received visa interview schedule. Okay, so I'm thinking 2006, you definitely have your immigrant visas available, plus one of your sisters already did get the immigrant visa, which congratulations. Unfortunately, whenever it comes to US embassies scheduling the interviews, it's pretty random, it's pretty all over the place. So I wouldn't be surprised that they received your sister's case a little bit earlier from NVC, and they scheduled it just a little bit earlier. So I think it's going to be really close. So let's see, your sister got it on September 20, which is 5 days ago. Nice, very fresh. I'm thinking you should definitely have your interview scheduled like in the next month or two for sure. But like I was explaining to Daphne right above commenter, call the US Embassy and explain the situation. Say the same thing like, hey, we are all 3 sisters, we all have same priority dates, and one of the sisters already got the immigrant visa, but we didn't even get the interview scheduled. Just be nice, be professional, and it's unofficial notice. They might tell you, hey, your interview is scheduled, for whatever, a few months from now, 2 months from now, a month from now. It's not an official notice, but at least you will know that, hey, this is when my interview is scheduled, so that's it, good to go. And again, once you do get your interview scheduled, please come back to this channel and let everybody know, because I know people, for people it's nice to hear other people asking questions and stuff, because it shows that there are other people in similar situations like they are. But it's also really, really nice to hear the resolution of people finally getting their interviews, people finally getting their visas, so far, so forth. Okay, moving further to the next question. Comment from Farasat Ali 2646. Thanks to give good response. My case is born in USA by birth. I'm citizen US. I got married in Pakistan. My husband I-130 approved. Now I got one baby born in Pakistan after approved I-130 of my husband. I'm not meet the physician presence in USA for CRVA. How can I took my daughter case other than CRVA? What kind of petition I can apply for newborn? Please reply. Thinking. Okay, so Farasat Ali, if I understand your situation correctly from your comment, if you do have your I-130 approved for your spouse, okay, that's in Pakistan with your child, then you really don't need to worry about anything, because if you did mention the newborn baby on the petition, newborn baby, they just come as the derivative beneficiary. Like, they're not gonna say, oh, to your spouse, okay, you're good to go to America, but you can't bring the baby. They're not gonna do that. All right, so you shouldn't really worry about anything. Yeah, and if you are, if it hasn't been updated yet with the NVC, if it's a really newborn baby, just born, and you didn't have a chance, I would definitely submit a public inquiry for the NVC and let them know that now there's a baby, just to make sure that the baby is included on the application. Okay, so let me post the response here, and we're gonna move on to the next comment from Paula Dome 7324. Hello sir, I trust you're doing well. Thanks so much, appreciate that. I fall under F1 category and I was documentarily qualified in November 2022. My priority date is May 2016. How long will I wait before an interview is scheduled? I'm from Ghana. Okay, so from Ghana, so you're in all chargeability area. Let's see, May 2016. I think right now we are in January 2015. Yes, so January 2015 and you're May 2016. So you're roughly a year and 5 months away from the availability of the immigrant visa. And that's as of right now. Keep in mind that that's really for everyone. These estimates that I'm giving, they're rough estimates, because visa bulletin, sometimes it moves forward, sometimes it moves backwards. Sometimes, a lot of times, new visa bulletin comes out and there is no movement at all for a certain category. So keep that in mind, please. That's why I say it's very important to stay on top of the visa bulletin, and every month the new one comes out, make sure to check on it. But roughly as of right now, Paula Dome, you're looking roughly at another year and a half for your interview. Okay, post the response here. We're gonna move on to the next question from, looks like a bigger one, Mr. Bindas 6. My father got approved, but my mother was denied after the interview. Wow. My mother had overstayed for 2 months during COVID. Is there something we can do about it? For your information, I did not file extension. I was planning to apply for her green card from USA, but because of some circumstances, she had to go back the country after 2 months overstayed. My mother went back to country. However, she was returned back from Turkey for not having PCR report. I was afraid she wouldn't come back to USA since she had stayed for 2 months. But she did come back to USA. I checked her I-94 travel history and I was able to see she could stay another 6 months. However, I was not aware about her visa being canceled until she tried coming back to USA and was denied entry from Dubai. So I applied for her green card, and after a year in her interview, she was denied green card. Any ideas what we can do on this case? Mr. Binda, sorry you're going through this. So yes, you see, and I keep saying it all pretty much in every video. For everyone who's watching, make sure, this is the most important thing that you need to make sure, is that you don't have any time where you are out of status throughout the whole immigration process, whether it's non-immigrant, whatever, it doesn't matter. Even if you're not planning to immigrate right now, still, it's not worth it, going out of status. Now, the good news, Mr. Bindas, is that in your situation, in your mother's situation, it was extraordinary. It was an unusual situation. It was an emergency situation because it was during COVID. And yeah, COVID messed up a lot of people. And, especially whenever it comes to traveling, a lot of people, they had to stay here. And, yes, you did have to file an extension for her and you didn't. But that, again, it's maybe you didn't know, whatever. The important part is that you do have some explaining to do. And you do have more or less reasonable explanation for her overstaying 2 months. Now, I would definitely recommend reaching out to an immigration attorney. Okay, this is not something that you can just get an advice from somebody online and resolve it. Yes, it's possible to resolve it on your own. Probably, you most likely will have to, like I said, do some explaining, some major explaining, and then file some, requests to reopen the case, maybe, possibly. It depends on what kind of denial they gave your mother, because sometimes they deny with the possibility for you to ask them to reconsider the case. Sometimes they just deny and they say no. And sometimes you can appeal it to the Board of Immigration. Sometimes you can't. So it really depends, on a lot of things. That's why I said you definitely want to reach out for some legal help. I do have on this video, on this channel, the video where I explain how to find a good immigration attorney. So you might want to check that out just to kind of be, familiar with the way really this partnership between you and attorney works. Immigration, specifically in the immigration field. So it's not the end of the world. I think it might be resolved, but yes, you will definitely still have some, some struggling to do, some explaining to do because of this 2 months that was overstayed. So again, for everyone who's watching, make sure that you are not overstaying, that you're not out of status throughout none of the process, because it can happen. It's way easier than you think for it to happen. I always give the example of a person. I personally know somebody who been going through an immigration process and it was going very well. And when it came time for him to apply for his permanent residence, first time he was denied. Second time he had to go through 3 interviews, I think, which is not normal at all. And all of that was because he was out of status for about a week or 2 weeks. And the thing is, he was here as a student, and when his school was over, when his school classes was over, he took about a week or 2 weeks, and then he started his immigration process. He filed a petition. And these 2 weeks, it gave him a lot of problems. So make sure that, you don't do that. Okay, moving further to FOMO America. Thank you for this awesome tutorial. You're the man. Thank you. I appreciate it. I'm glad this was helpful. Let's move on to the next comment. Probably our last comment for today. I'm going to click this. And it's from Right Motivation 32. When my file uploading will be open? Okay, so your NVC portal is still closed. Received a welcome letter but not able to proceed due to limited visa available message. Yes. F24 class, priority date January 2023, Abu Dhabi Embassy, Afghan National. Okay, so F24, if I remember correctly, that's part of the F2A. But let's actually type it in. Let's see, F24 family visa. I want to double check, make sure that this is F2A or is it F2B. Let's see, immigrant visa. So this is a child. Let's see, F24. Unmarried son and daughter of lawful permanent resident. So is it under 21 or over 21? Unmarried son or daughter of lawful permanent resident. So that would be It can be F2A, it can be F2B. I think you're actually F2B because child of lawful permanent resident is the A right here, and unmarried son and daughter. So I think you're F2B. Okay, so now we have figured that out. F2B right now, we're actually looking at the graph B now, not the graph A, because we want to see when the NDC portal is going to be opening up. So it is for F2B January 2017, the priority date. So people with the priority date back in January 2017, as of right now, their NDC portal opens up. You are, let's see, priority date. Oh, you're in January 2023. Okay, so you still have quite some time to wait. You still have quite some time to wait before your portal opens up, and looks like it is roughly, well, you're January, and this is January as well, roughly 6 more years. 6 more years before your NDC portal opens up, before you can start your documentary qualification process. And then about 2 more years from then on before before your immigrant visa becomes available. So unfortunately, Right Motivation, you do still have some time to wait. I would definitely recommend staying on top of the visa bulletin. It's very, very important. Like I said, on this channel, I do make the visa bulletin videos once the new one comes out, where I talk about the movement on the release of the new release of the visa bulletin. So make sure you stay on top of that, but you still have some waiting to do. So thank you very much, everyone, for asking your questions. As always, really appreciate them. Hopefully my answers were helpful. Again, thanks for watching. God bless, and I will see you in the next video.